Hello there. I'm playing catch up today. I made a New Year's resolution in December that I would deliberately develop my YouTube channel by uploading a daily account of what I do as an academic. However, I've been back at work for 2 weeks and it's Saturday today, and I'm in the office because I'm playing catch up. This will be the first daily account that I would have uploaded for 2020. I have uploaded other recordings of my coursework that I'm doing, as I also promised, but I'm going to give you a summary of what I've done for the first 2 weeks. And I think the point that I want to make with this is that sometimes academic work is just so overwhelming that it's hard to catch your breath. And we end up in the office on the Saturday. And it's kind of fun today to be in the office and making this recording, because later today I'm flying out to France to visit Schema Business School. We'll be having a Globalization Academy meeting in Lyon on Monday and Tuesday. And then I've got 3 days in Paris. So probably not going to record anything next week either. So maybe it'll be once fortnightly for my January effort. Anyway, let's get an overview of what I've actually done in the first 2 weeks of the year for 2020 in my academic role as Professor of International Marketing. All right, well, I started the year in a nice way because I was able to announce that I have been accepted. One of my papers has been accepted to be presented at the World Marketing Congress that'll happen in Australia, actually, in July. So I haven't booked those flights yet. I have to get around to doing that. When I got back into the office, also, there was a mail package that had arrived, and that was a copy of my contract with Cengage Publishing for the 4th edition of my textbook that'll be released later this year. So we've already done the work for that. It's all up to the publisher now to get that happening, and very grateful to Cengage for all that they do. I spent some time with a student talking about the American Council of Consumer Insights. They have a conference happening in Virginia later this year, and I have submitted a paper for that. I haven't heard whether it's accepted or rejected, but they did put out a late call for student posters. And so I spent some time speaking with a student who may well be interested to work with me on submitting a poster. The deadline's kind of tight, February 3rd, so let's see if we can make that happen. I also spoke to another student about one of the industry partners that I'm working with this semester has agreed to interview that student for an internship, so that's kind of fun. There was lots of K2 issues, and K2 is the learning management system that Schema Business School uses. It's a derivative of Moodle. It's kind of low on the functionality and problematic at times, so there's been many issues in the last 2 weeks that some of them I've been able to overcome, and others I'm still working on. One of the 4 industry partners that I brought into the classroom in the first week of classes, I had some back and forth with them, finalising their project that they will bring to the classroom. And I also spent some time with the Schema Business School Dean of Research. So she was visiting the Raleigh campus in the first week of January, and it was very nice to be able to sit down and talk through with her, even though I had met her virtually and basically she hired me. I had not met her to that point, so that was a nice start to the year as well. Had to deal with some recalcitrant students who are the elected officials in the student club. So that wasn't fun, but yeah, it had to be done, and I'm still working on that to make sure that they're on track and in line, acting professionally. The emphasis with them is on about financial accountability, and even though they're finance students, we need to understand, we as in faculty need to guide the students in terms of what is required in a professional role like this. Maybe it's the first time they've met such requirements. So yeah, a bit of coaching, a bit of guidance involved there. I lined up 6 interviews with potential recruits for being admitted to, or potentially being admitted to, the Masters of Science and International Business program. So I'm as director, I have to participate in the recruitment of students. And I also did some work with what I am hoping to get rolling this year. My goal is to get up and running at least 2 professional development programs. So these are like short courses targeting local small business owners and operators. And so I was starting to put together a proposal. I've since finished that proposal and now we're tweaking it, and I'll present that in France next week. Last Friday, I also spent the day discussing with another industry partner the possibility of me doing field work at their premises. So that organisation is called A Place at the Table, and they are in central Raleigh, downtown Raleigh, and it all going well. I should be there once a week when, schedule permits, but once a week I'll be there interacting with their clientele and talking about food consumption and recording it with my little handheld recorder, so that then I have some ethnographic evidence to take to, for example, to publish and to take to the Association of Consumer Research Film Festival. So that's nice work. Another lovely thing that happened in that first week of January was that a past student from Texas contacted me about a mystery shopping project that I had got off the ground for a local hospital, and that was several years ago, and they want to reignite that effort, and so I was able to share with what we did in 2017. Also working on multiple case studies on brand activism, so working that up. And in the first week of January, I also did my first annual appraisal. Even though I've only been with Schema for 1 semester, I was required to complete an annual proposal. And after that, I feel it was very useful because now I have more of an idea on what Schema wants, and look forward to being able to deliver on that. Okay, so in the second week of January, classes started, and I had 34 students odd in a global marketing class at the master's level, and we had 4 industry partners visiting the classroom to bring in living case studies for the students to work on. So highly valuable for the students, hopefully valuable for the industry partners, and loads of work for me, but it was a nice start to the teaching year. I'm also confirmed with an American student about coming into the Masters of Science International Business program. Looks like she's going to do her first year in France. All the paperwork is done. We just need Schema to tick the yes box and it's a go. And also I lined up, working not only to get spring teaching organised and spring industry partners organised, but I'm also working 1 semester ahead to line up industry partners for the marketing and innovation class that I will convene in the fall semester of 2020. Come Tuesday and Wednesday, we had our first class for strategy. The students were absolutely up in arms because I prescribed a textbook. Apparently French students are not used to that. Well, so I told them to get over it and they'll see how useful it is throughout the semester. Doing a drone technology simulation for that one. Had a rude shock on Tuesday because figured out that Schema has transferred us to a different health insurance policy, and turns out they didn't transfer my 4 dependents. So yeah, that's a problem, and still working on getting that fixed. Hopefully we're close to making that happen. The K2 issues continued, unfortunately. I contacted a co-author that I had worked with several years ago and published a paper with. I thought she was in Paris, so I contacted her to say, hey, I'm going to be in Paris next week, you want to catch up? And it turns out she's going to be in Chicago, so that's not happening. These 6 MSc potential recruits interviews that I had lined up for Thursday morning got cancelled because of technological issues, technology failures. So that wasn't fun. I met with somebody that I'm going to work with regards to the professional development short courses that I'm going to get up and running. And I'm also working on a semester-long proposal for the MSc International Business program, where we focus on developing students' intercultural effectiveness. So my primary research that I did with the students in the fall semester of last year has told me that that's a shortfall, and so here is my consequential effort to see if we can fill that gap a little. I was contacted by 3 students, 3 past students who were telling me about exciting things that were happening in their careers, and that's just lovely to hear about that. And so I put that out on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm a mad Twitter freak. And a student from many years ago, 2009 in Australia, replied to that tweet and told me that he did my research methods course way back when I worked at Griffith University, and now he has since gone on to do his PhD and now lectures for Griffith University. Nice work, Jason. Okay. I'm working up as part of the intercultural effectiveness program that I'm putting together for the MSc International Business students. Part of that is that we're going to take the students to Miami for several days, and we're going to be meeting with multiple industry partners in Miami, including the French American Chamber of Commerce. Looks like Chopard Jewelry is coming on board for that, and maybe Club Med too. So that's lots of fun. Another thing that I'm doing for the students is the French students, they miss home and their French foods that are not readily available here on campus. So what I organised was for a local vendor who offers coffee and crepes to come into the campus for a tasting session, and hopefully we'll launch that effort as a once weekly effort for them to visit the campus and supply French crepes and coffee to students, and maybe offer some reprieve to their homesickness. Then yesterday, Friday, I spent the day readying myself to engage in the field work that I've lined up, but what I had planned didn't work out, and so I ended up spending the day in the Hunt Library doing recordings that are now loaded on YouTube. And that is why I have been overwhelmed for the past 2 weeks. It takes a lot of effort to prepare for teaching. And as you've heard me talk about in this short clip, we're actually preparing 1 and 2 semesters ahead, and then getting the teaching off the ground this semester kind of wiped out that first 2 weeks. All the preparation work that's involved, all the interaction that's required to make those industry partnerships happen. And anyway, the good news is now I get to fly off to France. So thanks for listening and see you next time.